Hello students, this is the next lecture in the series of consumer behavior and the topic is attitude formation and change. In the previous lecture we have discussed about attitude and the various models associated with that attitude. Now in this PPT we are going to discuss about attitude formation and change, how attitude can be formed, what are the sources through which attitude can be formed and how it can be modified. So first of all, attitude formation. Attitude are formed as a result of a learning process. There are different methods through which the attitude can be formed. First is classical conditioning. The principles of stimulus generation, stimulus discrimination, and and repetition helps in the formation of attitudes. So let's understand this in detail. People generally prefer buying those goods if it is associated with popular brands. Suppose you have already established brand like HUL or ITC are launching their product, so it is not difficult for them to grab consumers. Whereas if a new company like ABC company is launching a product, then they have to do a lot of marketing and promotional efforts uh, to make people aware about the product. So favorable attitude is a result of repeated satisfaction with the successful brand, and if a parent brand is launching a newly introduced product from the same source. So if you are getting a product from a reliable and well-known, well-established brand, so it is not difficult for you, for the company to make a consumer favorable towards the brand. Now, positive attitude towards successful brand, it is quite obvious. If you are continuously getting same level of satisfaction, so you will have a positive attitude towards the brand. Now, the successful brand is the unconditional stimulus. This is the theory of conditioning, that a successful brand is the unconditional stimulus, and through repetitive and positive reinforcement, it will result into favorable attitude. So, the successful brand is the unconditional stimulus, whereas the attitude, which is a result of repetitive and positive reinforcement, is your unconditioned response. This is the theory of classical conditioning. Now the second one is instrumental conditioning. During the decision making process, the consumer has to pass through a number of stages. The first one is cognition, attitude, and behavior. In the cognition stage, consumer is getting aware about the product. He should have a basic knowledge about the product, what are the benefits and advantages and disadvantages of a product or a brand. Whereas in attitude, once you are known about a product, now you have a liking or disliking towards the brand. So this is the second stage, that is attitude. Now the third stage is behavior, that is action oriented. Once you have done, you are aware about the product, now you have developed a favorable or unfavorable attitude. Now the final thing is whether you are going to purchase that product or you are not going to purchase the product. That is called your behavior. Now in low involvement purchases, impulse good, trial or situation factors, in which you don't want to go more detail and you don't want to search for more products, so in that case the situation, the sequence can be different. Like in the previous, in general one or the previous one, it was cognition, attitude and behavior. But in low involvement purchase cases and impulse good, in which there is an urgency, so it will be first cognition, then behavior and then attitude. First you will have a basic knowledge, then you will go for a purchase or not, you don't purchase, and then after purchasing, then you will have a liking or disliking toward a product. Now, positive attitude, if the act of purchase and the consumption after you have purchased the product is followed by a rewarding experience in terms of consumer satisfaction, means once you have bought a product, if it leads to the rewarding experience, means it will lead you to customer satisfaction. In that case, you will have a positive attitude. Whereas if you don't feel any good thing and you don't have a good experience with that purchase, so you will develop a negative attitude. Then the last one is cognitive learning theory. Attitude formation is done on the basis of information collected about the product or a service which gets stored in the mind of a consumer. Consumer forms positive or negative attitudes on the basis of information gathered and stored and retained in their mind on the basis of knowledge and beliefs. So what actually happens is, first you will get a knowledge, then it will get stored in your mind, and our mind is not going to keep all those things. They will keep selected things in the mind, and then they will form the positive and negative attitude on the basis of knowledge and beliefs. So they should so the main thing here is that consumers are not going to see all those things and keeping all those things in minds. So what is main important thing here is the marketer should focus on only few relevant things rather of giving the clutter of information, so that it will so the consumer is not going to catch your advertisement, or not is not attracted towards your product. Now here we can see one ad here. This ad is designed to influence attitude. So one way of influencing attitude is relate the products to social or cultural events. For example, the ad for Snickers egg features the product together with an Easter egg. So they have correlated both things. So playfully, what the ad has done, that snacker ripped off the egg from the Easters and end with the tagline, "It's Easter, only more satisfying," which tells consumer that the sneaker egg enhances Easter celebration. So this is a part, they have, this ad is a part of a campaign with Sneaker Satisfied. So what they have done is the sneaker uh, egg has been correlated with Easter celebration, so that they can grab more number of consumers. Now, what are the sources through which attitude can be formed? So, the main sources are self-experience, direct influences, or indirect influences. Now, how can be the self-experience? Consumer have a positive or a non-negative, or you can say favorable or unfavorable attitudes towards a product or a service or a brand on the basis of their own experience. They try out many products, and after that they evaluate the cost benefits, and then they will find out whether they like the product or they don't like the product. The second source is direct influence. The direct influence means who are our immediate neighbors or immediate circles, which have an impact on our decision making process. So family, friends, relative, or primary reference group impact a lot in attitude formations. Salespersons as well as the dealers have a main role in attitude formation. So the marketing representative provide information to consumers. These representatives provide information to consumers and attempt to favorably influence the expected consumers to try out the brand's product or service. Now, indirect influence can be mass media, either print, audio, visual, that provide information to the consumers and help in attitude formation. So basically, three sources are there: own experience, direct influences, who are in immediate contact of a person, and the last one is the indirect, in which there is no mediator is there, like mass media, print, or audio visual. So these are all the sources of attitude formation. Now attitude change. Now once attitude has formed, it is very difficult for anyone to change it, but it is not like we can't, once it is formed we cannot change it, although it is difficult, but it can be changed. It can be changed in the similar way we have learned that it is a learning process. So in the similar way, attitude can be changed through learning process. So they can be changed by bringing out the change in any one of the component. It could be in knowledge, feeling, and behavior, in cognition, attitude, and behavior. So it can be modified. It is difficult, but it can be modified. It can be done through various means. The marketer could take the measure that one influence consumers' attitude by bringing the change in consumers' opinion, belief, and how they evaluate the product. So we are going to see how the companies are changing the attitude of consumers. Now, we have learned till now that attitude is a learning process that can be changed through this cognition, affect, and behavior process. So attitude change via cognition. Attitude can be changed by providing information about the brand and they and about the various attributes of a brand. It can be brought about the changing importance that a consumer attached to the attributes of a product. So we should highlight those benefits for which the consumer is purchasing a particular brand, or we should uh, diminish, or we should supplement the bad part of the product. Then second is attitude change via affect. It can be done by generating positive feelings and emotions towards a brand. It could be the ambience, the rewarding schemes, loyalty schemes, well-designed ads with celebrities. The aura of the ad should be create a positive and refreshment in the minds of a consumers. Now, the third one is attitude change via behavior. Consumer attitude can be changed by eliciting trial on the part of consumer and continuously encouraging them to use that particular product. So in the way we have learned how to form attitude, in the similar way it can be changed. So we can see what are the various means through which can be seen, and a few examples have been given here. Now, identifying evaluating criteria for the consumer. We have to find out which criteria that consumer are taking into consideration and which attribute are ignoring. So consumers summarize their opinion, belief, and overall attitude on the basis of product attributes and benefit. They might ignore some important attribute because of unawareness. So marketer should focus on the criteria which he feels that he is on a strong position. He should either have a monopoly or a competitive edge. They should highlight or focus on the product on which they have a strong position. So they have to continuously make people aware about the benefits of the product. So for example, we can see here Godrej promotes its brand like expert powder hair dye by mentioning 5 attributes, but the most important one is ammonia free, means there is no ammonia, which makes it different from the competitors. So it the main point here is that Godrej is better brand and it does not contain any harmful content and it is free from ammonia. So although it has 5 attributes, but the company is focusing on one attribute, that is ammonia free, which is important for the consumer and which is evaluative criteria for the consumers. Now, second thing is bringing about a change in the product itself or package. Marketer adds on to the value proposition. Value proposition is a set of benefits that a consumer looking for in a product. So we can see here a lady has a neutral attitudes towards various brands of shampoos which are available in the market. She believes that all the brands of a product shampoo like Pantene, Sunsilk, Fama Devils, Dove, Garnier, all are same. There is no difference. But suppose Fama Devils comes up with a promotional scheme that a conditioner will be free with the shampoo, and it introduces a scheme that where if you buy one you will get one free. So after seeing these schemes, the lady will develop a positive attitude towards the shampoo, and the main reason behind this is she is getting more value for the money. Similarly, Dove claims that it prevents hair fall and it boosts hair growth. So the lady will develop a positive attitude. I have said that bringing a change in the product itself or the packaging. Now, if we change the entire product, it will be expensive strategy for the company because it involves lots of things like technology, manufacturing process, as well as the marketing strategy. So it is better for a company to go for packaging change so that it will be easy for use, easy for carrying and handling, as well as storage. So it is better to go for change in the package instead of in the changing in the product itself. For example, Dhara refined oil began with a big individual household over other brands. This is because it is preferred over other brands because it is launched in 200 ml tetra packs, so it is easier for consumers to use it and they can rebuy it again and again. Now, second is modifying or changing criteria for evaluation. It focus on educating consumers about the use of those attributes which they have not used earlier. So here the main thing is to make consumers aware about the hidden benefits of a product. So for example, we take a dishwasher is supposed to sparkle clean the utensils and leave behind a good smell. These had been the evaluative criteria for choosing a brand against any other brand. So, however, Jyoti Laboratories emphasize that on the bacteria that remains in the utensils even after being washed and left sparkle clean. So they promoted their brand Exo detergent bar and liquid as only antibacterial dish wash with cyclosan as an active ingredient. In this manner, they modified and changed the evaluation. So what they have earlier proposed that that smell will not be there and the utensils will be clean. So later they modified it uh, accordingly. Now, changing the basic motivational function, as we have already discussed that as a brand functions, different type of functions like utilitarian, ego defensive, the value expressive function, and the knowledge function. This we have already discussed in the previous section of where we discussed about attitude and various models of attitude. So consumers form attitudes regarding a product or a brand or anyone on few functions they form attitude. A marketer could change the consumer attitude by emphasizing on any function that they have not considered earlier. They have to highlight those points. They have to change the motivation by which they are purchasing a particular product. Now, associating the product or a brand with an existing favorable attitude. The brand could also be related to socio-economic, cultural, or environmental cause. An association between the product or a brand and the favorable cause would result in favorable attitude towards the brand. Suppose if a particular brand is associated with some good cause, it will create a positive impact in the mind of a consumers. With cause related marketing, marketers try to develop a favorable attitudes towards them uh, and towards the cause they are uh, working. In this way, they are not only contributing to the social cause, but they are also influencing the consumer attitude towards the brand. Now, this changing consumers' opinion and beliefs about competitor brands, the marketer could build favorable attitudes towards his brand by by telling the negative things of the competitive brands. He could change the prevailing consumer opinions and beliefs about the competitive brand, and they can highlight their benefit. They have they can suppress their own disadvantages, and they can highlight their own benefits by comparing with other competitive brands. So here we can see uh, one ad. Here we can see in the left hand only two pills are there, and in the right hand side there are many pills. So what it is saying, see, this is a company's brand and this is competitor's brand. So what the company is trying to convey here is that more pills doesn't mean more pain relief. So main point here is the company is highlighting its own product rather than the competitive brand. So this is all for today's lecture. Thank you. And in the next lecture, you will be having one assessment test for which details will be communicated to you.